Way back in late 1970, on a desolate mountainside in Norway, a discovery was made that would kick off a mystery that's now spanned more than half a century. The badly burned body of a woman was found, but her identity had been, well, meticulously erased. What she left behind was a bizarre trail of coded messages, fake passports, and a whole lot of unsettling questions. So today, let's dive into the enduring enigma of the Isdal Woman. And that's the big question, right? It's what has haunted investigators, journalists, and armchair detectives for decades. She was a ghost, a woman who had at least 9 different names, but no real identity to speak of. In this explainer, we're going to unpack all the clues, from a chilling final sighting on that mountain, all the way to the cutting-edge science that's trying, even now, to finally give her back her name. So where does this all start? Well, funny enough, it doesn't begin with the discovery of the body. It actually begins a few days before, with a really strange and unnerving encounter on a cold mountain path near the city of Bergen. Okay, so picture this. A lone hiker is making his way down the mountain when he comes across this trio, and right away, something feels off. The woman was dressed nicely, elegantly even, but she had no real outerwear for the freezing November cold. And the 2 men walking behind her, same thing, just lightweight jackets. They just seemed so out of place. This is where it gets really tense. The hiker said the look on her face was just haunted. As they passed each other, she seemed to slow down and reached out, almost as if she was asking for help. But before she could even say a word, one of the men moved right up next to her and she was just hurried away. The hiker had this terrible feeling she needed help, but he knew he was no match for those 2 guys. So, the hiker actually did the right thing. He went to the police the next day to report what he saw, but his concerns were pretty much dismissed. Then, just 5 days later, he sees the headline and gets this brutal, sinking feeling. The woman they found, it was almost certainly the woman he saw on that path. All right, let's move to the crime scene itself. The body was discovered in the Isdal Valley, a spot the locals sometimes call Death Valley because of its grim history with suicides. But this felt very, very different. A man and his 2 young daughters were the ones who found her. And the scene was just bizarre. Her belongings weren't scattered around like you'd expect. Instead, they were arranged carefully, almost ceremonially, right near her body. You had this weird collection of things. A fur hat that reeked of gasoline, sleeping pills, some jewelry. It just made the whole thing even more mysterious. And when I say her identity was erased, I mean they went to incredible, almost surgical lengths. The smell of burnt flesh was in the air. Her face was totally unrecognizable, just charred beyond recognition. Her fingertips had been scraped or sanded down, trying to destroy her prints. Even the little brand labels on every piece of her clothing had been meticulously snipped off. This wasn't random. This was a professional job. The autopsy brought out this chilling contradiction. The official cause of death was poison. She had swallowed a massive overdose of sleeping pills, at least 50 of them. But there was also deep bruising on her neck, which suggests she'd been in some kind of violent struggle. So that's the big question. Was this a suicide, a murder, or something else entirely? For days, the police were hitting a total brick wall. The case was completely stalled. But then they got their first major break, and it was a big one. It was something that blew the case wide open and revealed this incredible web of international deception. You see, even though her fingertips were badly damaged, they managed to recover a partial print, and it matched 2 suitcases that had been left in a locker at the Bergen train station. Inside those suitcases, police found a whole new set of clues: wigs, a bunch of different currencies, and a cryptic coded diary. The suitcases show just how deep this went. This woman had been traveling all over Europe using at least 9 different false passports. Witnesses started coming forward, confirming she was a polyglot, fluent in German and Flemish, and that she was constantly changing her look with different wigs. One day she was an antique dealer, the next she was a traveling salesperson. She was a true chameleon. Okay, so you have this meticulous planning, all these fake identities, coded notes, and this is all happening in 1970, at the absolute height of the Cold War. It all points to one very powerful theory, doesn't it? Espionage. And here's the kicker, the real smoking gun, if you will. During the Cold War, Norway was a hotbed for spy activity, and while her codes have never been fully broken, investigators noticed something incredible.
The dates and locations in her diary seem to line up perfectly with her movements around Norway during top-secret tests of the brand-new Penguin anti-ship missile.
And, her case doesn't exist in a vacuum. It has these chilling parallels to another really famous cold case, Australia's Somerton Man from 1948. Just look at the similarities. Unidentified body, labels cut from the clothes, coded notes found, poisoning suspected. It's like we're seeing a pattern here, a kind of playbook for spies who need to disappear. So for decades, the trail went completely cold. But then in 2017, modern science gave investigators this incredible new toolkit to peer into the Isdal Woman's past. And they did it by using the only thing they had left of her actual remains. So how does this work? It's actually really cool. Scientists perform something called isotope analysis on her teeth. You see, our tooth enamel absorbs chemical signatures from the water we drink and the food we eat when we're kids. It's like a tiny geological time capsule. By analyzing these isotopes, they could actually trace where in the world she most likely grew up. And the results they got back were startling. The analysis showed she was most likely born around 1930. And the data pointed very strongly to one specific place as her childhood home, Nuremberg, Germany. Suddenly, this new evidence starts to paint this incredible, turbulent picture of a life in constant motion. I mean, born in Nazi Germany, she then likely moved to France or Belgium as a young girl. At some point, she traveled really far, getting sophisticated dental work done in places like South America or Asia before her life came to that tragic end in Norway. So after all this time, after all these decades of police work and these amazing scientific breakthroughs, what do we actually know for sure? And more importantly, what secrets did she end up taking to her grave? And this slide really sums up the frustration, doesn't it? We have these tantalizing clues. We know where she probably came from, we know how she operated, we know how she died. But the core of the mystery, the really important stuff, it's all still a blank. We still don't have her real name, the meaning of her codes, who those men on the mountain were, and the ultimate reason for her death. So people have tried to explain what happened in her final moments. A few big theories have emerged. Was she murdered by foreign agents? Her identity wiped out as a warning to others? Or maybe was it an assisted suicide carried out by her own allies to make sure a crucial secret she carried died right there with her? That bizarre ceremonial layout of her things has even led some to believe it was a kind of ritualistic killing. And this, for me, is the truly heartbreaking end to her story. With no family to claim her, with no name to even put on a headstone, she was given a funeral attended mostly by the police who investigated her case. A woman who lived a life of so many secrets ended up completely, utterly alone in death. Which leaves us with one final haunting question. After more than 50 years, is the identity of the Isdal Woman just an unsolved mystery, a cold case that's too old to crack? Or is it a state secret? A secret that is known by some, but has been deliberately covered up by powerful people who, even today, don't want her story to be told?